People do not understand the massive implications of this coming catastrophe, this coming economic catastrophe. Do not be dumb and do not ignore the warning signs. It's Saturday, July 27, 2019. Doing a quick video today. Going to go over a couple topics as we wait and anticipate the Fed cutting the rate this week. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they justify cutting rates when we have this all-time low unemployment, wage growth. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they justify lowering rates in such a healthy, booming economy. So we'll wait to see how that all plays out. But again, we have this incredible wage growth. We have unemployment down. We're creating new jobs. And yet we're going to see a rate cut. And that is another warning sign telling you, you better be preparing. But I want to talk about something else. You know, it just really intrigues me how people continue to buy things they can't afford, continue to buy cars they can't afford, to buy cars, with an emblem on it that says BMW, Mercedes, or Lexus, to impress people they don't like or to impress people they don't even know. They put themselves in so much danger, taking on so much debt to drive a car to impress people. And with everything we know that is taking place in this economy right now, how and why would anybody go out and buy a new car for $80,000 plus in order to impress people they don't know or don't like? And to take on, now, if you could write a check for it, God bless you. Go buy, 3 of them. No issue with that. And I don't have an issue whether you buy a car or not. It's none of my business. But it just fascinates me knowing what we know today, the dangers that are lurking out there right now. Like, we are sitting on a beach watching a 20-foot great white shark peek its dorsal fin out and cruise the beach line. And there's people that see that and yet go in the water. You're going to get what you ask for. And so these people who continue to take on debt when the writing's on the wall, as the shark is swimming by, people don't care. They're either so naive and dumb, or they just don't care. It just blows my mind. Why would anybody be gambling right now, taking this kind of risk, knowing what we know? And so what do we know? Well, what we know right now, this was on Zero Hedge today, total U.S. credit market debt is $73 trillion. The United States of America is officially bankrupt. Federal debt, $22 trillion. People do not understand the implications of this upcoming catastrophe, which is on its way to America. And parts of America are seeing it right now. It's not that people are incapable of seeing these things that are taking place, these bellwethers, these warning signs, these canary in the coal mines. It's not that they're incapable. They just don't want to. They want to ignore it. They want the party to go on. They want to drive the new Mercedes, the new Lexus, the new BMW. They want to impress people they don't even like. And they don't want to face reality. They would rather go into massive debt. I'm telling you, this is the wrong time to be going into debt. You do not want to be holding debt with what is coming to this economy. This will be a killer. This is the time to be debt-free. The deals are coming. There's going to be so many houses and cars for sale. It's going to be mind-blowing. This is not the time to be burying yourself into debt. You need to be protecting yourself. Congress is doubling down on the wreckage from the past. They're blowing the debt like there's no tomorrow. Instead of going out and blowing your money on a car and just acquiring massive amounts of debt, become your own asset. Have a skill or have a skill set. Know how to do something. Know how to survive. Be the hardest person in the room to kill. You wanna take your money and buy something that I think is really valuable. Buy stuff like this. This is an asset right here. This is the stuff that's going to get you through tough times. Buy loads of this and buy training. Invest in yourself. A car with debt is not going to get you through this apocalypse. But I'll tell you what will. Boxes of this and a skill set of knowing how to use it is going to be very, very important. So instead of blowing money on stuff that's just depreciating, and an automobile is one of the worst investments you could possibly make, because when you buy one, it loses 20% of its value as soon as you drive it off the lot. So as you take on a mountain of debt, you're losing money as soon as you drive it off the lot. Do the right thing. Buy something 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, pay cash if you can, or finance very, very little, and invest in yourself. I want to go over some more on this article. When the recession arrives, Washington will pull out all the stops to counteract it with applications of debt-based stimulus. The debt will go vertical, GDP will go flat or contract. You do not want to be holding debt when this happens. Everyone wants a free lunch, but they want somebody else to pay for it. The deficits mount up year after year. The currencies are debased year after year. Something must give. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on this Saturday to tell you, wake up and start getting prepared. This thing is going to be biblical. It is going to be crazy. And the people out there that are not preparing right now, you're going to be victims of this economic collapse. If you don't have a skill set, if you can't survive, if you don't have hard tangible assets put away, if you don't have food and water put away, and number one, if you do not have security, you're going to be in big trouble. And we're going to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about why I believe security is so important. The politicians and the sheeple are going to continue to ignore what's coming. But more and more Americans are seeing and they're realizing the implications of this coming catastrophe. They're understanding it. They're seeing it for their own eyes. People are getting laid off. They're getting their hours cut. Business owners see business coming down. People in the service sector don't see the business they saw a few years ago. People go to the malls. They see retail. They go to the auto dealers to look at cars. Nobody's there. It's a sea of cars. People are seeing what's happening with their own two eyes now, and many people are waking up and they're realizing that things aren't as good as they've been told. It is painfully clear that this economy is heading straight down, even though the media and these business analysts are telling you to invest. Everything's good. It's a bear market. It's going to continue to go up. We are sitting on massive bubbles right now. Let's go over some of what we're seeing in corporate America. Corporate cash plummets amid stock market buyback spending. Corporations are loaded with debt. They're not even profitable. And yet we're witnessing the stock market go up. And we're going to see a rate cut this week. So we have this incredible economy with low unemployment, wage growth, and an all-time high in the stock market. And we're going to see a rate cut. We should be raising rates, not lowering rates. In a booming economy, you raise. When an economy is not doing well, you lower. I want to go over some of the numbers here. I just put down a couple of these corporate numbers, not all of them. But here's some of the debt that these corporations have that you're invested in, that maybe your hedge funds invested in, maybe your pensions invested in. AT&T, $191 billion in debt. Verizon, $136 billion in debt. Comcast, $113.78 billion debt. Charter Communications, $73.5 billion debt. Apple, $112 billion debt. GE, $111 debt. General Motors, $108 billion of debt. CVS, $95.6 billion debt. Oracle, $56.2 billion in debt. IBM, $54.9 billion of debt. ExxonMobil, $44.3 billion in debt. Caterpillar, who's been getting devastated, $36.5 billion in debt. Home Depot, $34.2 billion debt. American Airlines, $33.5 billion debt. UPS, $25.8 billion in debt. And the list goes on and on and on. And remember, this is in a thriving, booming economy. And I'm here to tell you, the recession has started. And when we get deep into this recession, wait till you see the debt levels of these corporations. They're no longer going to be able to manipulate these numbers, these corporations and these banking numbers with corporate buybacks, cooking of books, and all this manipulation that's been going on. And when they no longer can do that, we're going to find out when this market unleashes and we start seeing this market, we start seeing a free market when they start losing control. We are going to see the real asset values of these stocks, these bonds, of real estate, these corporations. We're going to see the real asset values, and people are going to wake up and they're going to look at their 401ks and look at their money markets, and the people who are millionaires today are going to be broke tomorrow. This is coming. This is coming, and you better be getting prepared. Second quarter GDP was only 2.1%. And what's fascinating here is the top spending category was recreational goods and vehicles. I made a video a few days ago that was based on an article in Zero Hedge that talked about the RV industry and the massive blow that the RV industry is currently taking because, in their words, they said that the tariffs with China were responsible for aluminum and steel prices going through the roof, and other Chinese-made RV parts, vinyl, electronics, plastics, and all sorts of things that go into these RVs, that this was really hurting the business. The article went on to say that domestic shipment of RVs to dealers plummeted 22% in the first 5 months of this year. Yet, we're being told that the top spending category in this GDP report for the second quarter was recreational goods and vehicles. The article in Zero Hedge went on to say that dealers are cutting orders and laying off workers. So if this is the number one category, you really have to ask yourself, what's going on here? Managers at RV and suppliers said the industry is crashing. Drive by these places. We drove by one in the Riverside, Corona area last week, and it is a sea of RVs. As far as the eye can see. There's one out here about 15 minutes from my house. I drive by it probably once a week. There is millions upon millions upon millions of inventory sitting out there. The industry, which controls 50%, Thor Industries, which controls 50% of the North American RV market, said sales have dropped 23% in the fiscal third quarter. The U.S. government says the consumer is doing great and is spending more money than ever. Unfortunately, the consumer is using his and her credit card to spend. And from what this article says and from what these numbers say, people certainly aren't out going and buying RVs. Yet, the government says it's the number one industry right now in the second quarter GDP report. It's the number one spending category, and yet people in the industry completely disagree and deny that. So I want to close this video out. As I said earlier, instead of buying stuff you don't need to impress people, this is what you need to be buying. You need to be buying stuff like this, and you need to be training. You need to be investing in yourself. And if you have to hire a professional instructor to train you on the art of survival and being the hardest person in the room to kill, that's money well spent. You're investing it in yourself. You're making yourself an asset. You have a skill set. You can protect yourself. You can protect your family. And I bring this up because I've watched a handful of shocking videos in the last week. These thug attacks that have been taking place all over the United States. The one with the worker, I believe it was in Philadelphia, about a 60-year-old man who worked at the police station. He's walking home. He's attacked by a group of people for no reason, knocked to the ground, having his head bashed in, kicked in, punched in. Washington, D.C., this was another one that took place where a couple gentlemen were coming back to their hotel and a mob of like 20 or 30 young people are chasing these guys down, assaulting them, putting them in the hospital. Stockton, California, this is another one. Husband and wife ask these people to get off their property. Very nice neighborhood. And before you know it, it's a group of people attacking the husband and wife in front of their own house, putting this guy's wife in the hospital. I mean, you can look these videos up. They're popping up on a daily basis. There's probably going to be more up today. One of the worst ones was in Detroit. A young man just graduated college. He's driving through Detroit, has a very minor fender bender with somebody, pulls over into a gas station, walks up to the gentleman that he had the fender bender with. This dude just punches this kid who's half his size, punches him right in the face, knocks him down, continues to punch and kick him, and he's dead. And my heart goes out to this young man's family. Looked like a clean-cut kid, college graduate, and driving through Detroit at 1:30 in the morning, having a fender bender. And I just don't understand the mindset that somebody would just kill you because you had a minor accident or you were asked to get off somebody's property and now people are willing to kill you, or they just kill you and beat you for fun and entertainment. This is the United States of America that we live in today. And you better have some of this, because as I watch these horrific attacks and crimes taking place in the so-called good times in America, could you imagine what America would look like if we had another 1929? If we went into a Great Depression? Back then, people, came together and helped one another. Could you imagine the chaos and violence we would see in America today? We've really got to stop worrying about people who are asleep. We need to really focus on ourselves, our skill sets, our survival, and we really have to continue preparing and being a stronger individual, being our own central banks, being stronger financially, being stronger physically, being stronger spiritually. When I watch these horrific crimes taking place in America, it's just another warning sign telling you what you're going to be witnessing here in America when the lights go out, when the EBT stops, when the recession takes hold of America, when it turns into possibly a depression. What are people going to do when they get hungry? What are they going to do when they get really frustrated, when the free money ceases to exist? I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to look at you as a target. They're going to look at your family. They're going to look at you and want what you have. They're going to want your food, your water, your gold, your silver, maybe your wife, maybe your daughter. They're going to be angry at you. They're going to blame you. You can see this separation in America, this divide. And one half of the country is going to blame the other half for all their problems because they've been entitled. They've been dependent on the government. They've been dependent on somebody to take care of them. And now nobody has any law. Everything is becoming lawless. And if they don't have it, they're going to come and take it. So you can be a victim, like a lot of these people were, unfortunately, or you can be the hardest person to kill, and you can protect your family. And you can be your own asset. You can be your own security. You can be your own central bank. But I can tell you, I'm not going to let anybody hurt me, my family, or my friends. It's not going to happen that way. Not going to happen. I've made a choice and a promise to myself that I'm never going to go out that way. Just not going to happen. So make sure that you continue to prepare spiritually, financially, and physically, because I believe America is going to go down a very dark, dangerous road here. We don't know how long it's going to last, how deep this recession is going to be, but by all accounts, looking at these numbers, this amount of debt, the deficits, the bubbles, we're going to be in a very, very dark place for quite a while. And for these people who are not prepared, who are going to be taken by surprise, I feel sorry for you, because your life is going to utterly turn into a nightmare, and you are going to be victims. And if you're watching this right now, do not allow yourself to be a victim. Wake up, get prepared, start looking at the warning signs. They're all over the place. They're telling you what's coming. There are ticking time bombs everywhere. I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for watching today. God bless every one of you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you share this video with everybody you know. Blast it all over social media. It is getting harder and harder to get these videos out. And make sure you hit that bell notification so that you are notified with the latest video. God bless every one of you. Talk to you very soon.